Alright, problems 9, 10, and 11 are all dealing with the same function, asking for three limits of this thingy-mabobber, which is a logistic curve. How are we going to find it? Well, y'all struggle finding windows, so my advice to you on this problem is to not graph it, but to use your table instead. So start by going into y equals and enter your function. Right? So y equals, then enter your function. How are you going to enter that thing? Well, you should enter it as 300 divided by parenthesis 2 plus 4. E is Euler's number. You can find it right here if you hit second and then hit the divide sign. But we want to raise e to a power. So look, if you just hit second and then the ln sign, you get e to the x right there. So either way, get your e, get your exponent. Now, if you're on a new calculator, it's going to put your exponent up here. And so you can just say negative 0.7x and then hit the arrow over to jump down and close your parentheses. Or maybe you just did alpha y equals and did a fraction bar. That's fine too. If you're on an older calculator, you need 300 divided by parenthesis 2 plus 4 e to the, so either e and a caret, or the e to the x button, like I just showed you. And then you have to open parentheses, negative 0.7x. You have to close those parentheses and then close the other parentheses, like that, if you're on an older calculator. Okay, well, now that we have that, what are we going to do? Well, I advised you to go to Le Table, the table. But first, go to your table set, which means hit second window, go to the table set options. You should see a thing where it says independent, auto, ask, dependent, auto, ask. You want to set the independent to ask. That's going to allow you to enter x values. So independent, ask, and now go to your table. Maybe it shows you some stuff. Maybe it shows you a blank x and y1 column. Regardless of what it shows you, you can now type in x values that we want. So let's answer 11. Limit as x approaches 0. Well, there's no reason that you can't put 0 into this function, and so you should type in 0. Your calculator should tell you that you get 300 divided by 6, which is 50. Interesting. 300 divided by 6 for that x-intercept. Cool. Okay. Well, what about the other ones? Limit as x approaches infinity. Limit as x approaches negative infinity. How are we going to do that? Well, as x approaches infinity, we're looking for either end behavior or horizontal asymptote. So hopefully this thing levels out to a specific number. So maybe try some x values. Maybe try 10 and see what it gives you. Well, if you type in 10, it's going to give you the y value of 149.73. So let's check another value that's bigger, maybe 100. If you type in 100, you're going to get straight up 150. If you type in 1,000, notice that you still get 150. That's telling us that this graph has leveled out at the y value of 150. So the limit as x approaches infinity is 150, which is 300 divided by 2. Interesting. Okay then, what about the limit as x approaches negative infinity? Well, let's do the same thing. Let's type in some x values. Maybe negative 10. What do you get? Ooh, you get a silly small number. You get 0.06836. Pretty small, pretty close to 0. What happens if you do negative 100? Ooh, negative 100 gives you some scientific notation that says 3e negative 29, which means, hey, here's a 3, put 28 zeros in front of it and then put your decimal. That's how small your number is. So that's like insanely small, really close to 0. We're going to call it 0. Now if you keep going and you do negative 1,000, your calculator actually gives you an error because it can't handle how small that number is. So interpret it as 0. Waboom. Finished.